Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice and give. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice and screen. Those who are attending in online. Am I audible? Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice and screen. Those who are attending in online. Am I audible? Guys, any background noise or any other thing you are getting it? Any background noise? Is my voice is clear? Your voice is clear. No background noise. I think now echo I reduced it. That means I have just what I'm telling there. I removed that like echo, no problem. It's okay. Guys, now let's understand it. What exactly the content here we are discussing here. Yeah, JDBC topic here we are understanding. In a JDBC, what we completed, if we understand it now. So Java database connectivity here we started there. Inside these few steps here we are understanding. Yeah, steps to prepare JDBC application we understood. Oracle installation we completed. MySQL installation is pending. That I will discuss with you when I come to the classroom. Then apart from that, I started the JDBC application logic. What logic here we provided there inside this test application. If you want to create test application, what exactly the steps here we require there? That information already I given to you. Load and register driver. Establish connection between Java application and database. Create either statement or prepared statement or callable statement. Write and execute SQL queries. Close the resources. These are the various points here we understood. Already we started with load and register the driver. In a load and register the driver, what step here we completed there? If you observe this, driver is an interface provided by the Sun Microsystems and its implementation class are provided by the database vendors in the respective database softwares only. To make available the driver class to the JDBC application, we have to set class path environment variable to the driver jar file. There we can identify now. Set a class path is equal to C:/Oracle. Now here I given 18XE guys. Then in place of it, there we can provide like what there 21XE as per our classroom system. 21XE C:/Oracle 21XE product. Like this here we have to add what there OJDBC 11.jar that we have to provide, that we can provide anyway. Then after this, after completion of this, if you use type on driver in JDBC applications, then it is not required to set class path environment variable. Why? Because type on driver class was provided in the same Java software along with the predefined library. If we use type on driver in the JDBC application, then we must configure the ODBC driver in our system. For this, we have to use the following steps. What are the various steps here we have to use there? Control panel, system and security, administrative tools, ODBC data sources, user DSN. Click on the add button, click on the RDB21 home, finish button, then provide the following details. DSN name only we have to provide. Click on OK, 3 times OK button. That's it. When the driver is available to the JDBC application, we have to load the driver class bytecode to the memory. In JDBC application, to load driver class bytecode to the memory, we have to use the following method. What method here we have to use? The public static class for name string class name throws class not found exception. In the case of type on driver, alright sir, had Oracle 12c version, can uninstall it and install 21c, not required. Surya Prakash, just directly we can use that Oracle 12c. No need to disturb the existing databases. Better use the same databases. Don't worry for it. All right, then I'll show how to use that Oracle 12c. That's sufficient for us. All right, now class.forName method sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. This is type on driver. But if you want to use type 4 driver provided by Oracle, there we have to use class.forName of, there we can use like what there, Oracle dot jdbc dot Oracle driver, Oracle dot jdbc dot Oracle driver. This is in the case of this Oracle database. If it is a case like what there, type 4 driver provided by MySQL, get com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc dot driver, that we have to provide. It's okay. When we execute the above instruction, JVM will perform the following actions. What are the various actions that JVM is able to perform? All the points here we are given there. First of all, JVM will take the provided driver class name from for name method, and JVM will search for the driver class name at current location at Java predefined library and at the locations provided by the class path environment variable. If the required driver class is not found in the above locations, then JVM will raise an exception like java.lang.class not found exception. Next one is what? After this, if the required driver class is available at either of the above location, then JVM will load its bytecode to the memory. At the time of loading driver class bytecode to the memory, JVM will execute a static block. Inside the static block, JVM will execute driver manager.register driver method. With this, JDBC driver will be ready in between the Java application and database to perform its functionalities. Alright, the next one is what there. After loading the driver class bytecode to the memory, JVM will create a java.lang.class object with the metadata of the loaded class that includes name of the class, access modifiers, superclass metadata, implemented interfaces details, variables details, methods details, and so on. Alright, sir. Yeah, Shoaib, I think then from your side you are getting problem. Why? Because and everybody they are understanding clearly my voice. My voice is very much clear for everybody. Just check from your side. From my side it's okay. Why? Because not only 5, then all remaining members are getting clear voice. Okay. Guys, once again I'm asking you, is my voice is clear to all of you? Are you getting the clear voice? Yes, 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 yes. Clear, 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 crystal clear. Yeah. Right, thank you. Alright, sir. Now let's move on to the next point. Okay. This is the total internal process of like what there class.forName method. Some optional cases also we have given there. What are the optional cases here we are getting? In JDBC applications, if we use Java 1.7 version or JDBC 3.x version, then it is optional to load and register type on driver. Similarly, in JDBC applications, if we use Oracle 11x or 11g, then it is optional to load and register type 4 driver. In JDBC applications, if you use MySQL 5.8 version, then it is optional to load and register type 4 driver. All these are like what they're optional cases about these drivers. Alright, that's okay, fine. Whenever we are understanding these points now, after completion of this, now here I want to provide one more small point, try to understand it clearly. In a JDB's application or to prepare JDB's application, note I am telling to you, observe carefully. To prepare JDB's applications, JDB's API has provided the following predefined classes and interfaces. In the form of the packages like java.sql, java x.sql packages. What predefined library which is provided by JDB's API for us? There we can identify. No, first one is like what there is a driver. Basically, this is what their interface. Driver manager. This driver manager is like what their class. Connection is like what their interface. Connection. Driver manager. Then what next one here? Connection. Statement is also like what there an interface. Prepared statement like what there interface. Next one is what their callable statement. Interface. Callable statement interface here we are getting. After completion of this, next one is what the result set interface. After this result set, the next one is like what I am telling to you. Apart from this, data source is an interface. Database metadata interface, result set metadata interface, and so on and so on and so on. Like this here we are getting. All these are like what their predefined content here we have to use. Alright, so now here at present where we are inside the JDBC, up to now what we are and where we are inside the JDBC, that we have to understand. Now up to now then where we are actually inside the JDBC, if you observe this, now try to understand it. No, I want to represent in the form of a diagram. Try to observe carefully. Alright, so now understand it clearly. For example, this is Java application. At the same time, this is database. Okay. Suppose the database may be anything, Oracle or whatever it may be, the one database here we are going to use. Now, whenever we are having database there definitely we are able to have what there database engine. There we can identify now here we are getting like what there database engine. Okay. Database engine here we are getting there. Now we can identify this at Java side driver is going to be existed here. There we can understand JDBC driver. Okay. JDBC driver we are getting. This is up to now where we are. Now that means driver is ready. Then database engine, and one more thing here I am telling to you, database engine will be connected with the database through username and password. Database engine, it will connect with the database. That means database engine will connect with the database through what their username and password. There I want to provide something else like what their username and password. Through that only is going to be connected. Alright, it's okay. Then what next one get apart from this? Now we can understand it. No, driver is loaded. Up to now, just what we completed here in our JDBC application. Just we completed load and register the driver step only we completed. That means there we can identify clearly class dot for name of driver class name. The driver class name may be anything. I want to go with what there. Alright, now I want to go with like what there. Then what we want to do then? Class dot for name of sun dot jdbc dot odbc dot, or maybe either we can use directly this one. Okay, then we can go with like what there directly. Yeah, say for example, or directly here we can understand sun dot jdbc dot odbc dot jdbc odbc driver. If you want to use this, then what is required here now? Here we required odbc. Odbc again here we have to provide this. That odbc if we use there, then we have to use the dsn name. Or else maybe if we don't want to use this, there we have to use what there driver type 4 driver here we can use. What about this type 4 driver here now? Oracle dot jdbc dot, then what we have to provide there Oracle driver. Alright, so now this here we are using it clearly. It's okay, fine. Next one, sir. Then what next one here we have to use the class dot for name method. There we can use Oracle dot jdbc dot Oracle driver, that we can use directly. It's okay, fine. The next one is what next one here we have to provide apart from this. Of course, in place of it I can use it, no problem. Mister, can I use this as the database? Right, sir. I think you are very much particular about my diagrams. Right, it's nice, good concentration. Okay, fine. Anyway, good. Is it okay, guys? Then is it the database? No, Surendra. Okay, now is it the database? Surendra Gaud. No response, Surendra. Can I move forward? Okay, fine. All right, sir. Now it's okay. Then apart from this, yeah, I'm not good at diagrams, sir. Please at least recognize it. Whatever the diagrams I'm using there, I try to give some diagrams, no, but you are not accepting my diagrams. That is a problem. Okay, fine. All right. Now class dot for name method. Then up to now, just where we are in the sense, this is what we completed up to now in our content kit. In our content now, this is what exactly the content kit we are getting. Okay. All right. Nice. Leave this one. This diagram is available up to now. Your class dot for name method that we are getting. It's okay. Fine. Next one is after completion of this, the second step here we are going to understand. What about the second step here? Step number 2, establish connection between Java application and the database. Establish the connection between Java application and database. Alright, so now observe carefully. In a JDBC, applications, to establish connection between Java application and the database, we have to use the following method from java.sql.driver manager. Please remember this. All these things we are going to use in our code. Then up to now, load and register the driver. What we have used there? Just we have used class.forName method that we have used there. Okay. And before that, anyway, for your understanding purpose, I want to write some pseudo code also on the base of this content here, class.forName method. Just you are going to understand it. Some pseudo code I am going to write. By that you are able to get some clarity. What is going on that internal code? For the sake of your awareness, guys. Okay. All right, sir. Now, tell me some internal code I'm telling there. The model code here I'm telling to you about the first step. First, understand it clearly. What I'm telling now. Driver is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems. You have to understand it. Public interface driver. Inside the driver, so many methods are available. We don't require this as of now immediately. This is provided by Sun Microsystems. Next one is what after this. The public class. Now here I want to take like what there Oracle driver for example. We have taken implements driver. Guys, now tell me this Oracle driver was provided by Which company? Which organization has provided this Oracle driver? No response. Oracle driver is provided by which company? Driver is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems, and Oracle driver is provided by which organization? Surendra Gaud. Come on, now tell me which company has provided this Oracle driver? Okay, fine. You are not giving answer. Now the answer is like what there? Oracle. Oracle organization has provided this. Okay, right. So this is okay, fine. Next one is watch. Apart from this, inside this Oracle driver, yeah. Before this, I want to take one more thing. Now, before this one also, I want to provide one more thing. Public class driver manager, public class driver manager, or else here itself I won't write it. Don't worry. Public class driver manager. Driver manager is a class. This driver manager class is also be provided by what there? Sun Microsystems. Inside these there is a method. So public void register driver method. There is a method. So many methods are available, but this is one of the method here which is available inside this. Moreover, this is static method. We can recognize this. Public static void register driver. Of course, some parameters are also available. Their internal content can. Now, inside this Oracle driver now, there is a static block. Inside this static block, so many instructions are available. Where one of the instruction here I am writing now, driver manager dot register driver method is available like this. Driver manager dot register driver method is available. Okay, fine. Driver is an interface. Oracle driver is an implementation class. Driver manager is a class. It has the register driver method. Sun Microsystems. Now I am writing there JDBC code public class JDBC app. Now inside the JDBC app here we are able to have public static void main string array args. Now inside this right. Then inside this what we are able to do there, class dot for name method, or if you provide like what there, Oracle dot JDBC dot Oracle driver, then what is going to be happening there? Now tell me what we are getting there. Now the point is like what there, whenever we are providing this class dot for name of Oracle dot JDBC dot Oracle driver, JVM is loading that Oracle driver class bytecode to the memory. Oracle driver class. Then where at the time of loading that bytecode, what block will be executed? Static block will be executed. When static block is executed here, static block executed like what there, what the static block is providing there. Understand it clearly. The static block is executed. Then where what we are getting the driver manager dot register driver method will be executed. Whenever we are executing driver manager dot register driver method, automatically register driver method will be executed. That registered driver method will register the driver with our JDBC application. That's it. This is that internal flow here we have to understand clearly. Okay, this is a required internal code here I provided. That's okay, fine. Do this, guys. Now this is sufficient. Then what we are getting there, that point here we understood. Okay, fine. Now let's move on to the point here. Once again, I'm explaining to you, try to understand that internal flow. Driver is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems. Oracle driver was provided by Oracle Corporation, where inside the static block is available, where driver register driver method is available. Of course, some parameters are also existed here. We are not going to think about it. Public class driver manager provided by Sun Microsystems. Inside this register driver method is available. That register driver method is having some implementation. Public class JDB CPP, public static void main string array args, class dot for name method. Class dot for name method is having Oracle dot JDBC dot Oracle driver class is available. So class dot for name method will search for Oracle driver class. It is available anyway. Then immediately JVM will load this Oracle driver class. At the time of loading Oracle driver class, what is going to be executed? Static block will be executed. Inside the static block, driver manager dot register driver method call is identified. So flow of execution will come to driver manager class, register driver method. Automatically, the driver is going to be registered for our JDBC application. That's it, guys. Now this is exactly the flow of execution here we can identify. Right, sir. Next one is now coming to the point here. In JDBC applications, to establish the connection between Java application and the database, we have to use the following method from java.sql.driver-manager. What is that method here we have to use it? Public static connection get connection method. Public static connection get connection. Then where three parameters are available. What are the three parameters now? Let us check this. The first one is what there? String driver URL. String database username. String database password. Throws SQL exception. This is the total method syntax here we have to understand. Method prototype. Public static connection get connection, where three parameters are available. What are the three parameters here we are getting there? First one is string driver URL, and second one is what there? String database username. Next one is what there? String database password throws SQL exception. It's okay, good, nice. Now we need to understand driver URL. Driver URL that we have to understand clearly. Observe carefully. One point I am telling there. In general, from database to database, from database to database, from database to database, comma, driver to driver, driver to driver, driver, driver class name and driver URL are varied. So of course now again I'm not going to talk about this driver class name there. Mainly I'm going to think about what the driver URL is going to be varied. But the driver URL will be in the fixed format. Driver URL will be in what their fixed format for all the drivers. Even though they are varied, but they are in what their fixed syntax, fixed format. What is the fixed format of it? We are the fixed syntax of it now. Understand it clearly. Now the first one is what there. Alright, now main protocol name colon sub protocol name colon database name. This is syntax now. Okay. where the main protocol name is fixed in the JDBC, that is JDBC. Right, so now see this examples here I'm telling to you. For example, I'm telling to you type on driver sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. This is what their driver class name. Next one is what the driver URL. JDBC colon ODBC colon DSN name. Now here we can identify this. JDBC is the main protocol name. ODBC is what their sub protocol name. Nag with my name I prepared data source name. In the case of type on driver, that is acting as what their database name. This is one thing. Now type on driver, this is information here. Now the next one is what there type 4 driver provided by Oracle. If you observe this clearly, driver class name. What about this driver class name here? In the case of Oracle, oracle.jdbc.oracle driver. That's the driver class name is what there oracle.jdbc.oracle driver. Next one is what after completion of this driver URL jdbc colon oracle colon thin colon @localhost 1521 colon xe. Xe is a database we can identify clearly. If we use like what there Oracle xe versions, but if we use enterprise editions, no, Oracle 12c 11g or else something else. Now this is not XE. There we have to use what there ORCL. For Oracle, what versions can know? Oracle GRC versions. 11G or 12C or 18C, 21C, like this versions. These versions here we are using. Is it? This is about like what there type 4 driver provided by Oracle. Similarly, type 4 driver provided by MySQL database. Now here what we have to do there, first of all, driver class name. What driver class name here we have to use there? com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Driver URL. So we have to remember these driver URLs, otherwise maybe the respective database manuals are available. We have to open the documentation of the databases. There we have to search for it. Otherwise simply they are simple 2 lines only that we have to remember. Okay. JDBC colon MySQL colon /s localhost 3306 / database name. That's now this is about like what their MySQL. Now we can understand it clearly. The total content here we can identify now. If you observe this type on driver URL, JDBC is the main protocol name, ODBC is a sub protocol name, DSNM is acting as database. If we take a type 4 driver provided by Oracle, JDBC is the main protocol name, Oracle colon thin colon @ localhost colon 1521 up to this is like what their sub protocol name, and XE is a database name. Then here also be ORCL is what their database name. Similarly, what we are able to provide there, JDBC colon, next one is what their MySQL. JDBC colon is the main protocol name. MySQL colon slashes localhost colon 3306. Then up to this is like what there, this is the sub protocol name. Then after this, now database name here we are getting. What is the database name here we are getting there? The database name might be anything. Then that we are going to prepare this separately. Database name may be anything that we can identify. Okay. Alright, that we have to understand. These are about like what there, the way of that means that database URL like what the driver class names that we provided clearly. That's okay, fine. Next one is what are the remaining parameters? Just we understood up to one parameter. What is that parameter? You know, driver URL, database username and password. These two things here we have to get from what their database installations. At the time of installation of the database, what username and password we provided, the same username and password that we have to provide. Got it or not? Now the point is like what there, notable point is what there, where the database username and password, where we have to provide the database username and password, are the database are the username and password that we configured in the databases, that we provided in the databases at the time of installation. At the time of installations, what databases, what username and password we provided, the same thing here we are having them, right? Then that is like exactly what I'm telling to you. That is about like what their database username and password here, right? This is what we are getting clearly. Next one is what there, after completion of this, the next one is like what there, after understanding this, yeah. So after understanding that URLs and everything here, then we have to understand clearly example code here I want to provide. How that example code is going to be available here. Then for the connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection of there we have to provide first of all type 1 driver related information, JDBC colon ODBC colon DSN name comma my database username Oracle. With respect to the Oracle, it should be like what the system comma Durga that we already provided. It's okay. This is one thing. Second one is like what I am telling to you. The second one here. Now inside this, what we are able to provide there, connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection of Oracle related information here I want to provide. Now here we have to provide JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon @ localhost colon 1521 colon XE system comma Durga. This is another one. Similarly, another one here we are going to get no connection con is equal to driver manager dot driver manager dot get connection of there we have to provide something else like what there JDBC colon MySQL colon slashes localhost colon 3306 slash Durga DB. Of course, we can understand. I created some Durga DB is a database. Okay? There where username and password is what there. Say for example, root is a username, root is a password. The default username and password here we created. Understand it? Right. So now these are like what I'm telling to you. The examples here we can identify clearly. How the connections are going to be established inside the JDBC application by providing like this. Here we are able to establish what their connections here. But there is some internal content here we can identify. What is that point here? See, one thing I'm telling there. Not required to provide 3 connections here. What driver we are using, what database we are using, on the basis of that only here we have to select what their username and password. That we have to select there like what their the connection. Not required to execute all the 3 types of connections. One connection is sufficient here in our applications. Next one is after that. Understand it clearly. When we execute the above instruction, JVM will perform the following actions. What actions the JVM is able to perform there? Now we can understand point number 1. JVM will go to the get connection method, where JVM will execute connect method. Internally. Point number 2. Where connect method will establish guys understand it. Where connect method will establish the connection between. What connection can know? Connect method will establish a virtual socket connection between. Where connect method will establish a virtual socket connection between the Java application and the database. Okay, when this connection is established, with respect to this connection now, get connection method will create an object for the connection, and get connection method will return connection object. All right. When the connection is established, between the Java application and the database, get connection method will return connection object. Get connection method will return what object there? Get connection method, connection object. This is internally the concept here. When we execute the above instruction, JVM will perform the following action. JVM will go to the get connection method, where JVM will execute connect method internally, where connect method will establish a virtual socket connection between the Java application and database. When the connection is established between Java application and the database, get connection method will return connection object. Then immediately we got a question. What about this question, guys? Now observe carefully. Now tell me, JDBC is an abstraction or not? JDBC is an abstraction provided by Sun Microsystems or not? Please allow me to respond to me. JDBC is an abstraction. JDBC is an abstraction provided by Sun Microsystems. And who are implementing this abstraction actually? Tell me, guys, who are implementing this abstraction actually? Database vendors are implementing this abstraction. That's okay, nice. Now here my record point is what there. Part of the abstraction, connection is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems. Got it or not? So when connection is an interface, no, then how it is possible for get connection method to return connection object? My question we have to understand. Okay, here my question is what there. In a JDBC, connection is an interface provided by the Sun Microsystems. Then how it is possible? How is it possible for the get connection method to create connection object? to create and return connection object? That's my question. Okay. So here the question is very clear. What is the question here I'm asking there? In JDBC, connection is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems. Then how is it possible for the get connection method to create connection object and to return connection object? This is exactly the question here what we are getting. Now here we have to answer for this question. Now try to understand it clearly. Alright, so then what is the answer for this question here? I want to give this question in the next line. The answer is very clear. Already here we give an answer for it. Now try to understand it now. In a JDBC, connection is an interface provided by the Sun Microsystems as part of the JDBC abstraction and its implementation classes. And its implementation classes are provided by the database vendors. And its implementation classes are provided by the database vendors. You know already this. That's fine. Next point I'm telling there, in a JDBC, get connection method of the driver manager class. Get connection method of the driver manager class will create object for the database vendor provided implementation database vendor provided connection interfaces implementation class. Connection interfaces implementation class object, and the get connection method will return implementation class object, the connection interface. That's the get connection method of the driver manager class will create object for the database vendor provided connection interfaces implementation class object. Will create the object for the class, and the get connection method will return the implementation class object of the connection interface to the JDBC application. That's it. That's it. Now this is exactly the point here what we are getting there about this. Now answer and all the internal flow also we I'm able to provide for it. What should be the internal flow here we are going to provide for this? I'm going to give some diagrammatic, that means I'm going to give some information to now try to understand it. First of all, now here what I am telling to you, public, say for example, connection, interface connection. Public interface connection It has some other methods not at all required for us. Now this is provided by Sun Microsystems. Public class Oracle connection IMPL implements connection. This is like what I am telling there, Oracle Corporation. Then after completion of this point here, the next one is like what I am telling to you. Apart from this, understand it clearly. After completion of this, the next one is what there, public class Oracle connection IMPL implements connection. That's okay. The next one is what there, public class driver manager. Inside this public static connection get connection of 3 parameters, driver URL and all. There internally some logic is available, some implementation is available. Of course, connect method is also be called here by passing some parameters. Internal method. Then after this, here what we are getting there, connection con is equal to new Oracle connection IMPL object here we created. We written con semicolon. That's it. We written what there, con semicolon. So this is the implementation class case. Now understand it clearly. First of all, here what we are getting there, interface provided Sun Microsystems, Oracle driver, Oracle connection IMPL provided by what there, connection here. Understand it now? Next one is what there, driver class, public class driver manager, where get connection method is available. Okay. Now here in JDB's application here, what I am telling to you, public class JDB's app. Then inside this public static void main string array args. Then inside this, then what I am telling now, connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection. 3 parameters here we have to pass driver URL and database username and password. That's okay. Then what happened there, flow of execution will start from this point onwards. Of course, now here driver class loading is already completed here. I have not written that. First JVM will execute main method. Inside this main method, JVM will call what there, driver manager dot get connection method. Flow of execution will come to the driver manager dot get connection method. Inside this get connection method, what we are getting there, first we created an object for what there, IMPL. IMPL in the sense what there, Oracle connection IMPL object is created. The reference variable is maintained in the form of like what there, connection interface, no connection interface reference variable, that con we returned here. Automatically that con we are able to get to what there, this con variable. This is about what there, our main connection. There we are getting the connection object in this way. In this way only here we are able to get the connection object that we have to identify. It's okay. Now it is completed. Now let's move on to the diagram here. Now inside this diagram, I have to establish the connection here. To establish the connection here, what we have to do there? Nothing, sir. Just here we are providing in between these two. The connection is established. Okay. At both the sides, connection is established. Right, sir. It's okay, fine. Now here I am telling to you directly I won't write it. How we are going to write this connection in the sense? Connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection of JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon at the rate localhost colon 1521 colon xe comma system comma Durga. Like this, here we are getting some data. Right, sir. This is clearly the intersection here we are getting there. Okay, connection is established clear. All right, sir. Then overall, what we completed here in our application up to now, just we load the driver. Then after loading the driver, we establish the connection between, like what there, we establish the connection between Java application and database. Up to this point only, here we understood clearly. Is that got it or not? The next one is like what there. After completion of this, apart from this, what we have the next content here now? Apart from this, what we are able to get there. Right, son. The next one is what there we have to create a statement object. Statement or prepared statement or callable statement. That should be the next step now. Right? So even let us complete this one here. Up to now here we provided in the JDBC. Alright. Next one is like what I am telling to you after this. Step number 3. Create either statement or prepared statement or a callable statement as per the application requirement. This is about third step now. Okay. Create either statement or prepared statement or callable statement or callable statement as per the application requirement. This is exactly the point here we can understand. Okay, sir. So this topic I will discuss with you on tomorrow. Tomorrow we can come to the offline classes, guys. Those who are attending in offline, then max I will take in offline there tomorrow. So as per the requirement, we can attend for these classes. No, all right, sir. Good. Yeah, thin in the sense it's the client name. Just in general, we used to say it's the client name, thin client or something else. Okay, thin client and Oracle, Open Oracle, OCI clients, like different clients are available. Where thin is what their a client name. We can understand, but it's a general only. Just in general, we are going to use the thin client related things only. Okay, fine. Right, guys. That's it. Then we'll see the remaining content tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll see the remaining content. Thank you. Thanks a lot.